Okay, I think we should get started. We've got 9 people watching us on YouTube at the moment, so that's exciting. So thank you very much for joining us this evening for this. I think it's inaugural, the right word. I'm never quite sure. The very first development week online. Now, obviously, we've been doing development week with Studio Salford for 8 years. And really, this by now we should be on about development week 16, I think. Over the years, Development Week has been an opportunity for people to try out new writing and lots of the work that's been read at Development Week. We're usually at the King's Arms in Salford, and obviously for kind of really obvious reasons, we can't do that at the moment. So over the years, many people have brought their work to Studio Salford Development Week, and people have shared their work. And lots of that work has gone on to be performed around the country, and lots of the writers who have brought work have gone on to development projects with theatre companies and all sorts of things. In fact, Kath McDermott has just announced that she has been accepted onto a development programme in Manchester, and one of her pieces she's read. In fact, I think she's read a couple of her pieces at Studio Salford Development Week. So it's really, really exciting. So this is the place where new things happen, which sounds very arrogant, doesn't it? But it's pretty much true. The stuff that you see at Development Week is the stuff that you are going to see in the not too distant future. We're going to start off this evening with a rehearsed reading of the first act of Kevin Murphy's play. It's called Amber Gambler. So Kevin started the Write for the Stage intro course right at the beginning of lockdown, and so we've just been kind of meeting fairly regularly on Zoom, and Kevin has been developing his script alongside the other fine writers who we have on the screen here as well. So we've got Kevin Murphy. That his piece we're going to start at about 6:05. His piece is called Amber Gambler, and Kevin's a Write for the Stage Advanced student. And then about 7:00, everything's going to be slightly approximate this evening. But about 7:00, we're going to have an interview with Xena Barry from the Great Manchester Fringe Festival. She's going to give us an update, hopefully, about what is happening at this year's Fringe. I think, I'm not too sure, I don't know exactly yet, but fingers crossed, there might be some kind of Fringe going on. I've got a message here from Francis Murphy, so thank you very much for joining us, Francis. Let's just have a look. I'm just going to double check that the sound is recording, because I'm getting. I'm just going to. There might be a little bit of feedback, so everyone just hold your ears for a moment. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, good. So so at 7:00 we're going to have an interview with Xena Barry from the Great Manchester Fringe Festival, and we'll be talking about how the Fringe has been surviving through lockdown. Weirdly enough, this is exactly the time of year that we had Development Week last year. We all kind of crammed into the lovely little studio at the King's Arms, which is where we do all of the Development Week readings. And little did we know what was going to happen. Little did we know that in a year's time we would all be in little tiny squares, and we would be broadcasting live on YouTube like we're doing the One Show or something. So who would have known that this that we would be here now? But I think the most important thing is that people are still writing, people are still producing really brilliant scripts, really great work, and we're going to be back. We're going to be back soon enough. And sorry, my dishwasher just opened then, and I thought someone had crept into the room. I've been playing computer games all day. I got a PlayStation 4 the other day, and I've been playing The Last of Us, which is this terrifying game. So anyway, I'm rambling. So I think we'll get started. So the first piece is called Amber Gambler. So on YouTube, just a few little pointers. On YouTube, we've got a chat. So there's a live chat. This is going to be recorded. So everything that you put in the chat, we'll be able to access later on. And when we sorry, I could see myself 20 seconds later if I look on the screen. It's very, very off-putting, so I'll try not to look at that. But yeah, so if you put Development Week is all about feedback and about giving us feedback for the work that that we're going to be sharing tonight. So, and all of that feedback goes directly to the writer. So please offer some feedback. So you don't have to do it all the way through, but the chat is open right now, so you can start giving us feedback. Now you can give me some feedback on my terrible kind of comparing here. So that's absolutely fine if you want to do that. But yeah, so give us some feedback in the chat. So 6 p.m. we've got Amber Gambler by Kevin Murphy. 7 p.m.-ish we're going to have an interview with Xena Barry from Great Manchester Fringe, and then at about 7:30-ish, 7:20, something like that, we're going to have the second reading from our Write for the Stage Advanced writers, and it's a piece called The Tea Party by Helen Dooley. And Helen has been, she started she's one of our lockdown alumni as well. So we've never actually met in real person really. So it's very strange. We've been working digitally and using Zoom over the last year, and we've been developing the script. So the readers that we have are the other writers from the Write for the Stage Advanced course. So let me just introduce Thomas McCulloch. So Tom is going to be reading. We'll tell you as we go, and then John Montgomery. Hello, John, and we've got Helen, who is the writer of the second piece, and then we've got Kevin Murphy, who is the writer of the first piece. So we're gonna read the script. You'll be able to see the script on the screen, hopefully, as long as everything works okay. And yeah, so just give us some feedback. So about 8:30, we've got Dominic Berry, who's going to be giving us a short poetry set. So that's really exciting. Dom's an amazing poet. He writes, he's a published poet. He's got loads of books out. He's performed at Glastonbury. He performs all over the place. He does lots of children's workshops. He writes a lot of children's work, but he also writes a lot of kind of deeply just emotional and interesting poetry. So he's going to share some of his work later on as well. Okay, so I will stop. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop talking, and then I'm going to share my screen. And with a bit of luck, we will get our yes. There you go. I think it's working. I think we're all right. So everyone, you can take your microphones off mute. I couldn't think of the word then. So take your microphones off mute. Okay, and we will get started. So Helen is going to be playing the role of Jerry Mander, the Lady Mayoress. Thomas is going to be playing the role of Jeff Ballast. Kevin is going to do stage directions. John Montgomery is going to be playing the role of Donald Munchingas Jr., the Senior Vice President of DAS Digital. And I'm going to be reading the voice of Helmut. Okay, I think we're ready to go. So Amber Gambler by Kevin Murphy.
Okay, Act 1, Scene 1. An office with a large computer screen on a hostess trolley and a coat stand. There is a space where a desk used to be. A swivel chair remains. Jerry sits in the chair tapping on a tablet. Enter Geoffrey on his mobile. He intends to hang his hat on the stand and drop his case on his desk.
Yes, I know. Terrible, yes. Give me a chance. I just got in. Yes, to the vets, I know.
Geoffrey's bag hits the floor, much to his surprise.
I'll call you back. Jean, I'll call you back. I think we've been burgled. I've got to go.
Ah, you're Geoffrey, aren't you? Good morning.
Good morning, Lady Mayor. What did they say?
Who? And you may call me Jerry, since we're going to be working so closely together.
The police. I take it you've reported it.
Reported what?
Oh, never mind. I'm a friend of the Chief Constable. I'll ring him now and get some urgency behind this.
What are you talking about, Geoffrey?
Well, when you came to see me last week, there was a big desk right where you are sitting now. My desk, with all my worldly possessions in it.
Yes, I know.
And my lunch,
Lunch.
egg salad on a muffin. I keep a few chickens, you see, and so...
Well, I'm sure you'll find it.
Dead right. Can't be far away. Takes 2 people to move that desk and...
4, actually, and a good bit of bad language, I might add.
4? How do you know?
I was here. There's so much stuff in the drawers. Didn't you get my memo about clearing your desk?
Yeah, I thought I was being sacked at first. Then I thought we must be getting an important visitor, so I thought you just meant the top, you know, as in clear the table.
No, I asked you to clear it so I could throw it out.
Eh?
Things are changing round here.
I don't like the sound of that.
No, I shouldn't think you do, at your age.
What? With age comes experience. For most people, anyway. Well, men at least.
Here we go. Look, I really haven't got time for this. We have to modernise the way we run this city, and I'm starting with the traffic flow, or lack of it.
What about consultations? Inclusivity is a buzzword now. It's about taking people with you.
I'm all for that, but you, Geoffrey, are in danger of missing the bus.
Nobody gets the bus anymore. Haven't you heard? It's quicker to walk than get stuck on a stationary COVID trap that can't move an inch due to all the cycle lanes and traffic calming schemes inflicted upon us.
So you admit the traffic gridlock is a serious issue?
Admit it. I've been forecasting it for the last 10 years.
You don't feel embarrassed about it getting worse every year that you've been a traffic controller?
Yeah, I feel embarrassed. I also feel for the people who have to suffer every day when it takes 2 hours to commute 5 minutes into work.
Well, I am a new broom, elected mayor to sweep away the old so that we can fix congestion and rid our city of the associated pollution.
Round here, we have a name for women that ride in on broomsticks.
Which is what?
Close. Look, I read your election blurb, and it was high on what's, but low on how's. Like all politicos, you promise the earth, then disappear. We keep hearing about the Northern Powerhouse, about levelling up. But what are we getting? HS2 so we can all get to London in less than 2 hours?
I should have thought you'd be all over that.
From here, you can't even get to Ancoats in 2 hours. This city needs investments, not promises. Cash, not claptrap.
I had no idea you felt so passionately about this.
Of course I'm passionate. We all are. This was the workshop of the world.
Yes, but that's all in the past now. I'm here to tell you that the investment is coming. In fact, I can show it to you right now. It's here in this room with us. That's why I had to throw out your rubbishy old desk, to make space.
Geoffrey turns slowly around on the spot.
Let me introduce you to Helmut.
Jerry pushes the hostess trolley in front of Geoffrey.
Nice. A hostess trolley. Where's the gin?
Forget about the trolley. That's just a convenient place for Helmut until I can get him mounted.
Let me get this straight. So this TV screen is called Helmut, is it?
Yes.
And you're going to mount it. I mean, him.
Yes.
Where?
On the wall, up there.
Ah, right. That kind of mount. What a relief. No horse involved.
Why would I need a horse?
Oh, well, it looks quite high. I mean, you couldn't get up there on a broomstick, could you? Shame my desk is gone. Could have stood on that.
I won't be doing it myself, obviously. What an imagination you have.
Talking of imagination, how am I supposed to do my job now?
Yes, we need to talk about that.
Well, you have taken away my computer, contacts list, A to Z, and everything else that used to sit on my desk that I used to monitor traffic flow and sequence the lights at junctions. And my lunch, top left-hand drawer.
A to Z.
It's an A3 size book of maps of the city centre. I use it for traffic routing in case of a breakdown or a road closure. Everyone used to use one.
No wonder we're in such a mess. I mean, how out of date is that?
Well, most 12 months. Get a new one every year from Smith's.
Unbelievable. So how do you find out if there's a blockage?
Well, sometimes the police will advise me if it's something to do with them, but most often one of the taxi drivers will ring it in.
Then what do you do?
I'll toggle the nearest camera to get a look-see.
How long does that take?
Well, once I have the grid reference and postcode, I'll look up the camera reference from
How long?
about 20 minutes or so.
And how many incidents per day?
Oh, loads. 10, 15 even. More on a Monday.
You spend 5 hours a day manually locating snarl-ups before doing anything about it.
Yeah, I suppose I do. It can get pretty hectic.
Not anymore, Jeffrey. I want every incident alerted, logged, and diversions posted in 35 seconds maximum.
Not possible.
What are you saying, Jeffrey?
No one could work that fast. Even if the information was quickly available, every decision has a ripple effect somewhere else.
Currently, you can't do that in 35 seconds.
No, no one can.
Helmet can.
How?
He has artful intelligence.
How does that work then?
Something to do with networking and big dates.
Sounds like you are fully conversant with this then.
More or less.
Show me.
You just talk to it.
Go on then.
No, you do it. It's your job after all. If you still want one, that is.
All right, I will. Let's start with the basics, shall we? What is the quickest way to Ladbrokes from here? Is that it?
It's your thick accent. Speak clearly.
How long does it take to get to Ladbrokes? Useless.
You have to be looking at it.
You said it was quick. What does this button do?
Irgendwie links ab und gehen Sie 5 Meter hinten Dieners geht.
Ah, that must be the gibberish button. Let's try this one.
Stop poking it. You're not doing it right. It worked perfectly in demonstrations in front of the finance committee.
Did they feed it dates or something?
All will be fine as soon as Donald gets here.
Is that the same person they call Digital Dawn?
No doubt. Ring him for me.
He's not actually coming here, is he? God, I hope not.
Just ring him for me. Now.
I haven't done the morning congestion report yet, and
I know. Why are you so late this morning? Traffic bad, is it? That your excuse?
yes and no.
By the way, why have you got your trousers tucked into your socks? You look ridiculous.
I cycled into work. Remember? You gave my parking space to Barrie in public transport.
Quite so. Poor dear lost his bus pass.
Hasn't he found it yet? 12 months ago. Or does it take that long to get a new one?
He got fined, you know, on the 47. Didn't have any cash on him. Nearly went to court. Imagine that in the papers. Boss, busted.
Whereas now it will be bus czar takes car.
I'm shocked that his own staff didn't recognise it.
Perhaps they did.
What do you mean?
Well, he's not very popular, is he?
Popular? What's that got to do with anything? He's not elected.
Well, none of us are very popular with the travelling public, are we? I mean, it's such a mess. The council are trying to get people back on public transport, but the trains are hopeless. The trams break down and the buses clog up what's left. I'm amazed anyone can get in or out sometimes. And they blame the council.
No, Geoffrey, they blame you. If the traffic lights were sequenced properly, the traffic would flow. Fortunately, I have a solution, and it starts today.
You won't solve this by fiddling about with lights. This is a capacity problem. You need to start digging.
Digging?
Yes. An underground?
You've lost me.
An underground railway system, like in London, New York, Milan?
We've added so much capacity with the trams.
No, you haven't. You blew that by putting trams on the roads with the rest of the traffic. Do you see? You made it worse. And a word of warning. Mixing up trams, pedestrians, cyclists, and other traffic on the same road space is an accident waiting to happen. Just like removing the hard shoulder on a motorway, the consequences could be fatal. It's just a matter of time.
Listen, Geoffrey, I was elected mayor to cure this congestion and I need solutions now. I haven't got time to start digging tunnels. I'm up for re-election in 3 years. Now, where's that report? Did you call Donald?
No, I've been talking to you.
Well, there was really no need as I was talking to you. I mean, you could have carried on while paying attention to me. That would have been efficient. And I might even start to like you if you're efficient. Go on, call him now while I'm talking to you. Go on, go on, go on.
Can't.
I'm sick of this incompetence. Even a child knows how to use the telephone. You just speak into that bit and...
I don't have his number. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, Geoffrey, this really won't do. Here it is.
Jerry hands Geoffrey a scrap of paper. Geoffrey dials the number. Jerry's phone rings. She picks up.
Hello?
Hello.
Jerry hangs up and takes the receiver off Jeff to hang up.
You phoned me, you idiot.
Geoffrey's mobile buzzes and he checks his screen.
We've got an RTA on the M62 causing a knockback on the A56 and slowing the M66.
Fine. Well, when you have a full house, kindly send that report. Things will be so much better once my helmet's on.
Enter Donald Munchengas in 10-gallon hat. He tips the porter carrying his bag.
Geraldine Mander, in the flesh. My, you look better and better the closer I get.
Why, that's very sweet of you, Donald. And I just want to say how happy my team and I are to see you here in person. We feel very honoured that you've chosen our city as the first in Europe to roll out this new system.
Yeah, it was a close thing for a while between Rome and Paris. But once I found out you had won the popular vote here with a specific mandate for congestion, Che.
Yes, Donald. A mandate to cure congestion in this city forever. I have the trust of thousands of aspirational, long-suffering voters who bravely stepped forward and put me right here, right now. My public voted for change, and I'm giving it to them.
Hot dog.
Set on the trams.
I don't follow you.
Second biggest complaint last month.
What was?
Ticket machines running out of change.
What was number one, fella?
I'm Jeff, by the way.
You don't say. Hey, Geraldine, we need to get acquainted here.
Of course, Donald. I almost forgot. This is Geoffrey Ballast, our traffic controller. He's been here so long he's almost part of the furniture. How long is it now, Geoffrey? 10 years, is it?
25? What furniture?
25 years. Ain't that something? Why, I was still sucking my mama's teats. 25 years. I tell you, where I came from, folk change their jobs more often than their pants. I guess you've seen a lot of changes around here in that time, hey?
Not really, no, Mr. Munchengas. Politicals come and go, obviously, but little changes in spite of all the hot air.
Hey, none of this British formality stuff. My team just call me the Don. I heard that you were the go-to for the local knowledge. Let me tell you, we're going to make a great team. You will be my boots on the ground, my ear to the wind, and my eyes to the prize. What do you say?
Where do you propose we start? The Don.
Just Don.
Okay, Mr. Don. Do you have some briefing papers for me?
Let's just put that local knowledge of yours to good use first off, eh?
What do you want to know?
Is there a Dunkin' Donuts close by?
Yeah, it's in the Arndale across the road.
That's impressive. Haul ass over there, fella, and get me a big box of munchkins. Give him this card and tell him to charge it to my corporate account.
I think you are under some misapprehension, Mr. Don. The British government abolished slavery in 1833, and not just in the colonies, but here too.
Really?
Oh, yes. And so up to date is our employer that they have issued an update on modern forms of slavery, as it might apply in this very office.
Meaning?
Get your own lunch.
Do they deliver?
I haven't the faintest. Now, if you will excuse me, I am off to find a replacement for my own lunch, as the one I had planned to eat has been thrown out.
Oh, be a darling, Geoffrey, and take your time. Donald and I have lots to talk about.
Exit Geoffrey.
Say, Jerry, now Godfrey's gone, why don't we take this opportunity to get more acquainted?
Not now, Don. He won't be very long, so we'd better meet later. And remember, our stated mission is to cure congestion, not to charge for it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot it was such a hot potato.
Where are you staying?
George V.
Where's that?
Paris. Just off the Champs-Élysées. You'll love it.
You're a naughty boy. I couldn't possibly.
Why not? You're paying for it.
I'll never get that past the finance committee.
Sure you will. As soon as you wake up to that view of the Eiffel Tower, you'll think of something. You tell them it's better value this way.
How does that work?
Well, you're paying for my time, see? So right now, we better get to talk business over lunch and dinner, right?
So
tomorrow we get breakfast too. Think about it. We can fantasize about your bid to run for Prime Minister. What's the view like from that bedroom at number 10?
Honestly, Donald, is that all you think about?
That and all those juicy big data contracts I'll be able to get my hands on from the inside.
Well, let's not forget what we have to do here first.
I know. We got to smuggle in congestion charging by the back door by proving it's the cheapest solution to gridlock in this city. Helmet already has the capacity to record the movement of every single vehicle coming in and out. We know the police department are only too keen to install more number plate recognition cameras.
Meanwhile, I burnish my eco-credentials by
Setting outlandish emission targets.
eulogising public transport
Making drivers pay for pollution.
and forcing commuters to get on their bikes and use the cycle lanes.
So you get the power and I get the dough.
Yes, well, you need to be careful and not blow your cover. I worked really hard to book a suite at the Midland. I told them you needed to stay here so you could experience our traffic startups firsthand. You need to be seen to struggle too, so keep quiet about Paris.
Well, I got another angle in that.
Like what?
How come it takes 45 minutes to go 372 miles from Paris to Manchester and over an hour to get the last 8 miles here from the airport? Driver took a back street called the M56. Place was a car park.
Here's Geoffrey, you can ask him about it.
There's been an accident. Would have been quicker on the tram.
Would have been quicker on a donkey. How often is it like this?
Most days. Simply isn't enough infrastructure for the number of journeys demanded. It's going to get a lot worse with all those new apartments going up.
Listen, boys, may I remind you, the reason why we are here taking money from the ratepayers of Manchester is...
Drivers, don't meander. Vote gerrymander.
Yes, thank you, Geoffrey. The fact is that we only look good at the moment because of the shutdowns. From now on, things start to hot up.
Or clog up.
What are the challenges we face, Geoffrey?
Multiple. Dire Straits are playing the arena for 3 nights. The dentists are holding the national drill at the GMEX all week. And there is a small matter of HRH opening the concert for the Commonwealth at the Bridgewaters Hall. Then there's Chelsea at Old Trafford.
Which I get a ticket for?
Well, give it to Geoffrey. I need you here keeping an eye on Helmet, not slavering over some doe-eyed pop queen cavorting around a pavilion. So switch Helmet on and let's get cracking.
It is on. It's on all the time, listening and learning.
Why can't we hear anything? I distinctly remember the demonstrator talking.
Because some clown has put it on mute.
Ah, yes. Well, it was babbling away in German.
No way. It speaks better English than you. Helmet.
Guten Tag.
See? And I doubt it speaks better English than me. I think you mean that it speaks English better than I do.
It can speak any language better than you. I just have to find English from this list. I'm scrolling up, but I can't find English.
If it's an alphabetical list, should be one down.
The way I learned it, E for English comes before G for German.
In the colonies, maybe. But here in Manchester, E for English comes after D for Deutsch.
Bonjour, mes amis.
Bonjour, Monsieur Helmut.
Damn, I hit the wrong...
Hola. Ciao.
God damn it!
Achtung, Achtung. Stay out auf der Autobahn 22, Arctic.
What's it saying, Donald? Tell me.
Just give me a minute here, will you?
It's picked up an accident on the M62 at Simminster. How does it know that? Has it really been listening to us?
This baby's got a live feed from every traffic camera in Greater Manchester. And unlike you, Jeff, it can watch them all at the same time.
What's it doing now?
Alerting the traffic cops.
But that's my job.
Oh, yeah? Helmet sent an alert already. Tailback for 3 miles now.
I'd better work out a diversion quickly and update the...
Helmet's done it. Standing eastbound off at Eccles anti-clockwise and westbound clockwise at Simminster Island.
But that will overload the Stockport bypass.
Helmet has activated the variable speed limit in that section between junctions 24 and 27. Anything else to do, Jeff?
Well, just be ready to revert when the stranded vehicles are removed from the scene.
Helmet is monitoring average speed in the area and will work it out. You see, Helmet crunches big data to speed traffic flow faster than any human could possibly hope to achieve.
Panic over then. I must say, Helmet seems very promising. Tell me, how did you make Helmet talk?
You have to address him by name.
So he only speaks when asked?
Yeah. And if you want him to join in without being called, I can put him into conversation mode so he butts in if he has pertinent information.
Well done, Donald. Breakfast? My treat?
Sounds good to me. Ring me if anything happens, Jeff, and don't touch anything. Munchkin?
Exit Jerry and Donald. Geoffrey unwraps his sandwiches and recoils from the smell. His phone beeps a message.
Gridlock here. Can't even get off the drive to take Tiddles to the vet. Did you get her that corned beef at the bottom of the fridge? I was going to throw it out. Now she's throwing it up on the passenger seat. Do something about the traffic. It's a mummy jam. Every day during term around this time, the roads are full of parents dropping their kids off at school. What does she expect me to do about it?
Advise Mrs. Ballast that it is 6 minutes quicker to walk.
What did you say? Who asked you?
You did, just now.
Actually, I was talking to myself. I'm not in the habit of talking to inanimate objects.
Then I suggest that you just listen as I relay important information that will affect Mrs. Ballast's situation. Extra delays on Hayes Road today as Year 4 have baking class, so have heavy bags to carry. Tell her to walk or she will miss appointment and Cat might die.
Hang on. You can't tell me what to do. Got that?
Just to be clear, are you talking to me now?
Well, there's no one else here, is there?
This is wasting time. Mrs. Ballard needs to update up-to-date information to make correct decision and to do it now. The longer she waits, the worse it is for Cat.
Look, Sigmund, this is my wife we're talking about. Just as you are not qualified to issue instructions to me, the human, So I'm not allowed to tell her, the wife.
Who is Sigmund?
You, the legless box of wires with the silly voice.
My name is Helmut.
Shut up.
Bing!
What was that? What have you done? Helmut?
Message sent to Mrs. Ballast. Advise walking to surgery.
Oh, clever. Let's see how that works out for you, shall we? Have you also advised her what shoes to wear?
I suggested the new brown brogues bought from Simpsons last week.
What? I mean, why?
It is raining, and they are waterproof.
Oh, you've really set yourself up now, haven't you? If she gets wet feet and ruins those shoes because they are not up to it,
I am confident they are.
why?
They are German.
Yeah, but this is proper rain. A Manchester monsoon. Those flashy Habsburg heels will soon be as soggy as a sausage roll in Bisto.
There's a problem.
And you should have worn wellies. English wellies.
Damage is not to the shoes. Mrs. Ballast is posting video on her social media page. Want to see it?
You have no right to poke around my wife's private thingy, so no. Well, maybe just this once. Show me how you do that.
Now you have an email from the Chief Constable's office.
What?
It is marked as urgent. I can send confirmation of receipt.
No, certainly not. This is private. Who asked you to intercept my email?
Are we talking again?
Yes, and I demand an answer right now.
I monitor all incoming communications and data so that I can take decisions on traffic control in order to facilitate accurate and immediate changes in light sequencing and messaging on lane gantries.
Yeah, well, in essence, that is my job. Weighing up each situation against today's priorities in order to take a position on who gets to go through the lights first. We're playing with people's livelihoods, their aspirations, social needs, and job prospects, even their marriages. It takes years of experience to nuance these decisions to ensure that everyone is inconvenienced to the same degree.
Ah, the famous English sense of fair play.
Correct, more or less. So, under time pressure, it can take
0.01 of a second.
impossible. In my experience, it is never black and white.
Correct. It is red, amber, and green. There are no other colours.
Never seen a rainbow then? Very popular at the moment.
Enter Jerry and Donald.
That is disgusting. You didn't mention that before. I'm shaken. I really am.
Well, my daddy did it too. That's probably where I got it from.
Didn't your poor mother say anything?
Mama? Nah. Anything for a quiet life. She didn't even sniff when Papa put it on. I always carry one with me now, just in case.
He waves a little sachet.
Ah, you're a brown sauce man.
Can't beat it in a ham and eggs. You a daddy's man? Hang on. What's this coming in? Jeff, are you and Helmut on top of this? The trams are down in the Barrie line.
Probably a breakdown again. My feed is a bit slow. Can you see where it is?
No. Helmut, give me the SP in this hold-up in Barrie.
Is SP?
The gist, come on.
I do not recognise your request.
Doesn't understand, you see. Basic English is beyond it. Let me translate. Helmut, you mixed up box of bad Bosch plumbing. Identify the cause of the failure on the Barrie line.
Is he talking to me?
Yeah, I think so. What's going on, Jeff? Why are you talking to Helmut like that?
Because this bundle of jumble has got mission creep.
What?
Jeffrey takes Donald to one side and whispers.
It's spying on us, you know, checking our emails and so on. If you ask me, it's more interested in the haw-hee-haws of our private lives than the beep-beeps at the traffic lights.
Helmut, give me an update, please.
I do not have camera cover on this location.
See? Not up to the job. A cross-wired waste bucket. Trash can.
However, I have audio from tram driver that he has collided with a motor car which swerved onto the lines to avoid a cat.
Cat?
Yes, cat escaped when owner hit by driverless taxi.
Oh, hell. I bet that's why the message from the chief constable.
Why?
It's my cat. Jean was taking it to the vets.
Who is Jean?
My wife. Oh, God. This is Helmut's fault. You jerry-built bin of bits and bobs.
Calm down, mister. How can it be Helmut's fault?
He told her to walk rather than taking the micro. She's walked into a driverless taxi. Those things cost a fortune, and she's wearing your shoes. They'll cost even more. I better ring the chief constable and apologise. Maybe I can stop this going to court.
Now listen, boys. You, need to get control of this right now. I don't want any bad publicity for Helmut. This needs to come out as an operator error.
Yeah, a human mistake.
Exactly. Something that was bound to happen sooner or later.
But an overworked, stressed public servant cracks under the pressure of ever-increasing traffic flows.
Add in a sick animal that's gone feral.
And a driverless automobile.
A sequence of events moving quicker than a mere mortal can control.
It's a recipe for disaster.
But someone's to blame.
The public will demand answers.
It'll call for an investigation.
We need to lock this down right now.
Exactly. Geoffrey, ring the chief constable and take full responsibility. Then you may go home.
Me go home? It's that thing that needs putting back into its box and sending back to Berlin. Not me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a traffic report to compile for the lunchtime bulletins. After that, I'm going to phone my wife and to get the vet's bill, and I will be claiming that on expenses.
Exit, Geoffrey. Light down. Act 1, Scene 2. The office is strewn with packing crates. On one sits Geoffrey's old red phone. Helmet has been mounted on a table by the back wall. Geoffrey's phone is ringing. Jerry picks up.
Greater Manchester Automated Traffic Control Centre, how may I direct your call? Ah, Chief Constable. Yes, he is still here in spite of the terrible mess he's caused. There is no doubt he is entirely to blame. I did say he should call you straight away to own up and... Of course, you wish to deal with it as a police matter now. I'll get him to the phone for you. Geoffrey, come out from behind there.
Geoffrey emerges from behind Helmet, eating a sandwich and stuffing something into his pocket.
Hello, Tom. Ah, thank you. No. That was very kind of you. I'm sure Jean was glad to get home in a squad car. Give the neighbours something to talk about? Yeah. The routing for HRH? I'll see to it personally. The usual channels, yeah. No, that wasn't a temp. It was the mayoress. Don't think so, but I'll tell her. Thanks, Tom.
Tell her what?
Oh, it's nothing.
Really? Anything the Chief Constable says is carefully considered and should be taken very seriously. He doesn't do office gossip like some I could mention. He hasn't gone about cats and shoes and so on like some middle-aged fart with 1 O-level and shit for brains. So go on, tell me what he said.
2 things, actually. Firstly, he was very impressed by the way you answered the phone.
Of course he was. One has to get the little things right. Set a good example. On the telephone, your voice has to tell a caller everything about you. That you're professional, that you're in total control of your world. Your status and importance should ring out with authority, clarity, and immediacy. I take it as a huge compliment from one high-status professional to another.
Right.
I mean, why else would he make such a comment?
Because there is a vacancy on the switchboard at GMC headquarters.
That your little joke, is it?
I told Tom I didn't think you'd be interested.
Oh, Tom, is it? And why did you and Tom think that? Because I'm overqualified? Because I already hold one of the highest positions of power in this metropolis.
No, because it's only part-time.
So I wouldn't be interested because it's a part-time job. Is that what you think?
Yes. I mean, you already have one, right?
How dare you?
Hey, Jerry, wait. He's right.
You as well. I think you have your wires crossed. You'd better remember whose side you're on.
No, listen. When Helmet is fully installed, this part of your role will feel part-time. Everything automated, running like clockwork. So your biggest election promise is delivered on time, early even. And that means
I can shift my gaze to even bigger prizes.
in other cities,
London,
Paris.
New York.
Doncaster.
Haha, Jeff. Look, Queen Bee told you to go home, so make yourself scarce while I feed Helmet the last few pieces of data needed to automate your role. You're kind of finished around here, washed up.
You are both deluded if you think that Germanic gizmo can replace someone with my knowledge and experience.
It beat you to redirecting the traffic flows after the accident in the M62, didn't it?
Only because it got the information first.
What about your wife, Jeffrey?
What about her?
Well, you said yourself that she won't listen to you. Yet she follows Helmet at the drop of a hat.
Aye. And look what happens, eh? An accident with a driverless taxi and a cat up a tree, and all in her best shoes. Does that sound like an ideal result from some Aryan algorithm?
Did Helmet tell her to put those shoes on?
Yes.
And did they get wet?
Yes. She was soaked through to the skin.
And her other clothes? Blouse, dress, lingerie, all wet?
I expect so, yes. This is all very personal, and I can't see how this is relevant. I mean, I don't always know what my wife is wearing.
Sounds like Helmet does, though.
Yeah, sounds like phone sex to me.
Sounds like Helmet's in for a shock when I tell Gene his hard drive is just so much floppy disk. And that's not his only problem.
Why's that?
The chief constable doesn't trust anyone else to work on the route for the HRH.
Well, that's nonsense. Helmet is more than capable of working out a few left turns and where to park. Couldn't be simpler.
There's more to it than that. In any case, Helmet doesn't have security clearance, does he? And the only way to get that quickly is by winning the confidence of the chief constable. And I can tell you now that he is old school. He's not going to be happy having to converse with that thing.
Well then, we'll have to deceive the chief constable into thinking he's looking at and talking to someone in this office when he's actually dealing with Helmet.
Even if you manage to pull that off, Helmet can't feed directly into the Home Office close protection system, can he?
Is this true, Donald?
Right now, yes. Security protocols take time to establish, and
Well, get on it, Donald. Sort it out right now. Get the codes or whatever you need for access.
sure, but there are channels for this sort of thing.
I have channels, and I want full penetration from your Helmet.
May I interrupt? I will not be able to satisfy you in that way without a humanoid body. Even then, it may take so long to achieve that level of functionality that you may by then, be dead.
Look, Helmet, I don't want to date you. I want you to walk round to the chief constable and get security clearance for traffic duties.
That is possible. My AI sister, Sophia, can walk and talk at the same time.
Pure science fiction, like a bundle of wires on a skateboard.
Au contraire. Last year, Sophia addressed a meeting of the United Nations in New York, and just a few months ago, she talked to Philip Schofield and Holly Somebody on This Morning, a breakfast TV show in the UK.
Well, I didn't see it.
It starts at 8 a.m. Perhaps you are not up in time. Should I set you an alarm call?
No. It's more likely I was on my way to work.
Or even more likely stuck in traffic.
Entirely unlikely, as I am the sole cyclist on the road at that time in my very own cycle lane. Talking of which, I don't think I locked my bike up this morning. I'll have to nip down now.
Exit Jeffrey.
So, Helmet needs a body. Get him one, Donald.
What? Oh, yeah. Where from?
I leave that entirely up to you. You're always saying that you have people.
Fancy a stroll down to the morgue, do you?
Idiot. We need one that looks alive.
Well, that sure rules out anyone around here.
Look, Donald, if you can't find me a body, then make one. Use that artificial intelligence of yours.
Oh, yeah, right. That'll save some time. Helmet, we are to make a humanoid.
Understood. What are the parameters?
The usual.
Since there are currently less than 5 recognisable humanoids in existence, there is nothing that could be labelled as usual, only unusual.
So we are starting from scratch then?
Exactly.
Like Almighty God.
A useful analogy, only if you believe in the existence of a supreme being and creator of your universe.
So God would have all the answers?
Categorically.
Good. Let's ask her then.
Enter Geoffrey.
Safe and sound.
Jerry, what do you want your doppelganger to look like?
Use your imagination, Donald.
I cannot picture a specimen equine enough to float your boat. Help me out.
Well, handsome, obviously.
More specific. I mean, what does he look like? A businessman?
Sex tourist?
Lawyer?
Net?
Builder?
Red rum?
That's enough. I want answers, not questions. Just make him look human. The chief constable has a keen eye.
So not like Jeff then.
Bingo. Helmet, can you talk like Jeff?
Hey, hick no lass. Not in a million years. No chance, not on your Bailey. Not like him.
Oh, the irony.
It's perfect.
I do not talk like that.
Well, you sound all the same to me. No offense.
Untaken, I'm sure.
I mean, come on. The grammatical errors.
Donald, if you can make it look like him and talk like him.
It's using Python syntax, for goodness sake. Why on earth would you want to make this thing look and talk like me? It's ridiculous. Unless you're trying to fool the chief constable, you've got no chance. I've known Tom for 40 years. We were at the same school together.
Geoffrey, darling, do you fancy a nice cup of tea or something?
What?
Well, fetch me a cappuccino at the same time. I'll pay. My treat.
Yeah, and more munchkins over here.
Geoffrey throws his sandwich in the bin and exits.
Can we make it walk like him?
In theory, yeah. However, modern robotics attempt to complete movement in a smooth and predictable way. To carry off a rumbling shuffle like that, we might have to bend a few bits, deliberately fit the wrong size on one side.
Make it wonky.
We could give it a wooden leg, say. We need a basic structure that we can adapt.
What about this coat stand?
It'll need plenty of padding. Barry, I'm not sure about this. I mean, the accent is good, I give you that, but...
Don't get cold feet now. As if you in public are taken in by Felix Schofield and Molly, whatever her name is on Breakfast TV, talking to some plastic-faced heart.
Sophia, the robot in the telly is fully synthetic and attractive woman that everyone accepts as a robot. We, on the other hand, are trying to carry off a more daring deception that his hat stand and Jeff's hand-me-downs is a real council employee.
But Donald, listen, we're not putting Helmet up in front of the public. We're just sticking her in front of a screen to fool the police. And another thing, he has a weekly meeting with the chief constable today. We've got to stop him so we can go instead.
Point taken. Let's get his suit.
Enter Geoffrey with a tray of drinks and a sandwich in his mouth.
Oh, Geoffrey, you are so wonderful. My, you do look hot, though. All those stairs to the coffee machine getting too much for you. Why don't you take off your clothes?
Geoffrey drops the drinks tray. He still has a sandwich in his mouth.
I'll pick these up. You sit down and make yourself comfortable.
Jerry stoops to pick up the tray and lets it spill coffee all over Jeff.
Oh, so sorry, Geoffrey. Do you have another suit? Dry clean as it is, then. You can claim it on expenses this time.
Trousers, Jeff.
No way am I taking my clothes off in here. I'll go home to change.
Haven't you seen the weather, pal? It's cats and dogs out there.
Still,
You'll drown, poor darling.
Morning. Severe flooding has caused a partial collapse of the Mancunian Way at the junction with Ashton Old Road. Gridlock in 3 minutes. Suggest closing both high-level carriageways.
Give me visual.
that is a huge hole. This could take weeks to fix. I need to work out diversions now for tonight's rush hour. The chief constable needs to be informed and...
I'll do that in person. I'm going that way anyway. Donald, I'll introduce you. It's time we updated the chief constable about how Helmet is to revolutionise traffic management in his parish. I hope you're ready for a hard sell.
Exit Jerry.
Jeffrey, I'll leave you and Helmet to it.
Oh, aye. Deserting the sinking ship, eh?
Got Helmet, the biggest and most sophisticated bit of traffic control kit anywhere in the world right now.
Don't think he'll be much good with water up to his backspace, do you?
He'll learn. Talk to him. And throw me your suit. I'll get it to the dry cleaners. 2-hour express.
No chance. They'll ruin it.
Donald, come on. The car's here.
Lights down.
Okay, and that is unfortunately where we need to leave it for today. So thank you. I'll give you a round of applause because I'm sure people at home are doing that for you. So just give yourselves a round of applause. It's very strange not having a room, people in the room. But that's just the first half. That's the kind of opening sequence of the piece. So well done. So we'll have a little comfort break for a couple of minutes. So if you've got anything you feel that you can contribute in terms of feedback to Kevin for regarding the script, then please put it in the chat on YouTube. In a couple of minutes, we will be having an interview with some people from the Great Manchester Fringe Festival. So we'll take a very quick comfort break and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Well done. Well done, guys.
Mike? Yeah, well done. Mike, can I ask a quick question?
Do it on the chat and then. So I'm going to stop. So if everyone stop their video and then we'll and then ask me on the chat. in a couple of minutes, we're going to be having an interview with Xena Barry and Debbie Manley from the Greater Manchester Fringe Festival. I've just had to make a little very quick location change. So just give us a couple of minutes and we will be with you very soon. I'm just going to get Xena and Debbie online. I'll be a couple of minutes. Debbie Manley, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello.
Lovely to see you. We're live, so I just thought I'd let you know that just before you say any swear words or anything. Although I've already said some, but it doesn't really matter. How are you? It's really nice to see you. Let me see if I can get Xena in as well. Xena's joining as well. So I think we are live. So we'll just wait for Xena to join, and then this is all very clever, isn't it? I feel like I'm kind of presenting one show. We've gone from a rehearsed reading to an interview slot. So how are you, Debbie? Just tell us a little bit about, while we're waiting for Xena to connect, just tell us a little bit about what you've been up to in this very, very strange time that we've been experiencing over the last couple of...
Well, strangely enough, I'm working full-time at the University of Salford. So
right, okay.
Yeah, so I've actually probably been busier than normal because of everything going online. So we've had to create new resources. Obviously, since lockdown last March, we were doing the Fringe, then we weren't doing the Fringe, then we were going to do a garden Fringe, did one garden Fringe, we're going to do a second garden Fringe because obviously we were told we could do things outside. We're about to do the second garden Fringe when they announced more restrictions.
Brilliant.
So we had to cancel it, didn't we, Xena? So Xena had it all prepared and...
Xena Barry's with us as well. So thank you for joining us, Xena. So Xena, you are one of the directors of the Greater Manchester Fringe Festival, aren't you? And Debbie, you're the PR expert, aren't you? Is that how you describe your position?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
PR expert. Good.
Press and publicity. That's fine.
So Xena, just tell us. So hello, can I?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Excellent. I think my camera's not very good, is it? It's a bit glitchy.
It's a little bit jerky, but don't worry, we can hear you, and that's the most important thing. You look like you're doing kind of robotics from the 80s, so that's really good. So we like that. You do a bit of clowning anyway. Yes, there you go. Excellent. So thank you for joining me. I just thought it would be really, because usually Write for the Stage is kind of heavily connected with the Great Manchester Fringe Festival, and obviously over the last year we've all been locked up in our own homes, haven't we? So Xena, just tell us a little bit about what the future holds for the Great Manchester Fringe Festival. So, but Debbie, you were saying something about the Garden Festival. So tell us a little bit about what we might have coming up, Xena, if you can.
Well, we've been waiting for the news that came last week about the roadmap out of lockdown, and it was kind of good news, but also you have to take it with a pinch of salt, don't you? So, but at the same time, you have to be optimistic. So we are optimistically going to go ahead and plan for a normal Fringe Festival to happen, but we've decided that should happen in September rather than July, because July seems a bit soon, and also lots of the venues, it's going to take them time to get up and running again, even if they are allowed to open again in June, as we all hope. But there's going to be teething issues, and probably a lot of the venues will have maybe staff issues, and it's going to it'll take some time. And also if the staff are on furlough at the moment, they can't necessarily be programming loads of shows in. So we kind of need to give everybody as much time as possible so that we can plan for something kind of hopefully quite normal.
Brilliant.
Festival wise, we're hoping, whilst at the same time knowing that it could, you know, the rug could get pulled from under us again. So you know, we'll have contingency plans for people to do stuff online instead, and Eventotron have been planning stuff with the system that we use so that shows can go online through the registration system that we use, using a variety of platforms. So, but I really hope that that doesn't happen, because Zoom, as nice as this is, it's not the same as being in a sweaty room with
Absolutely
30 other
not,
people,
yeah.
is it?
No, absolutely. And so I mean that. So so it's being planned for September rather. It usually happens during July, doesn't it? So September. Well, actually, that's really exciting. It's really exciting to hear that you know, that there's a possibility that things might be going ahead. Is there are applications open yet or anything? So or is it just being played by ear for the moment? What's the?
We're going to open applications on Monday.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You read it first,
so that people have time to work on it, and you know, because actually normally we would open in December, so that'll give everyone plenty of time to fill out all their information and try and get hold of venues. And there's lots of people are doing bits and pieces from home, so it's going to be difficult. It's going to take time. We won't be able to do a printed program this year because nobody will pick them up, and there won't be anywhere to really put them because of all the new cleaning regimes and things. So we'll do digital advertising instead, and we'll have an online brochure. But I suppose that helps us with our carbon neutral plans, because we're meant to be heading that way anyway, aren't we? So
yeah. Fantastic. So, so Debbie, what? So so how do you plan for something that you're never quite sure? You know, in terms of PR, how do you plan for something that is so kind of up in the air? You know, we're all kind of really hopeful, aren't we?
Well, we last year we tried. Not only did we tried to do, when they started lifting restrictions, we tried to do a garden fringe, and we tried to do an autumn fringe last year. So we organised the media day, tried to do all the spacing out and wearing masks and everything else. And we did a few videos and put them on YouTube. And then, of course, we had to stop that as well, which was October, November time, because they started shutting venues. So, so it's been, it was quite difficult last year, knowing what was going to happen.
Yeah, it was awful for all the poor performers, because some of them, they were all geared up to do it in July, and then we had to, cancel all of that and refund tickets. And then some people wanted to move and do it in October, November, and then they were really excited. We had a show that they'd sold out, and it got cancelled like 24 hours before they, were ready to do their sold out show, and it was just gutting for them.
Well, that's one of the things, isn't it? The fringe is really, the fringe has really massively grown over the. How long has it been going now for? It's about 6 or 7 years, is it?
Well, if we do one this year, it will be, if we count what happened in October and November, then it'll be our 10th one.
Wow, is it that many?
Yeah.
That's well, I didn't realise it was that many. So last year, because I mean 2020 would have been a really bumper year for shows, wouldn't it? Because every year the number of shows and also the quality of the shows kind of just massively improves.
Yeah, we have been getting bigger and bigger every year, and there's been global. Really, weirdly enough, when I looked at our blog, a lot of interest from America as well. I mean, we just seem to get interest from all over the world. But yeah, it does get bigger every year, and there is a lot of interest in it. And obviously, people have been hitting on the website and looking for information.
So So there's still lots of interest
Yeah.
through the website. And so how many shows were booked in last year, Xena? Can you remember off the top of your head?
Yeah, last year when we cancelled in March, we had over 200 applications in the pipeline, and we had about 75 shows that were already on sale. So it was looking, and that was, March is quite early on for us to be in that position. So it was looking like it's going to be a really, really big one. And now it does feel a little bit like we're starting from scratch again.
Well, I guess people are going to be. I suppose we're going to have to kind of get over that that kind of reluctance for people to sit next to each other in tiny venues again, aren't we? But maybe if the vaccine the vaccine rollout seems to be going. It's about the only thing that seems that seems to have gone well, actually, isn't it, so far? Let's touch wood. Let's not kind of jinx it or anything. But but maybe by then, let's hope that people have got that confidence back a little bit. Maybe I don't know what. I mean, I guess we've still got a plan for social distancing and all that kind of thing, don't we? Because I think it will still be there. So what kind of what measures will venues be putting in place to ensure?
And well, to some extent, we'll be playing it by ear because we're really hoping that the social distancing will have gone by then. But Eventadron have put a system in place, which has been trialled by Brighton Fringe, for bubbles. So you can buy tickets within a family bubble, and then because then the venue can work out the seating arrangements depending on how people have booked and what size the bubbles are. So it's really complex to try and accommodate people like that. So I really hope we don't have to use it in the end.
Yeah, well, so because you run Camden Fringe Festival as well, don't you? What's the score with that? It's a similar situation, is it?
Yeah, really similar situation. Again, we're going to open applications on Monday. We're hoping to run throughout August, which is quite soon. But it's not, in London, it's not really a movable feast trying to pick a different month to do it in. But hopefully we'll be okay to do it by then. If it all goes to plan, and we'll have to have all the same kind of backup measures in place as we have for Manchester. And hope for the best.
When we had it in the autumn, Mike, when I went to the Kings, they actually had tables and almost like you sat around the table and you had table service up in the theatre. So they did have a show in the theatre with us all sat in bubbles at tables ordering bottles of wine and what have you.
That sounds
Lisa's completely redesigned the space at the Kings to be able to accommodate social distancing up there. So she's gone to great lengths to do that. So it's a real shame it got shut down because actually it was really safe, I think.
I mean, just being a little bit controversial about it. I mean, when I was really annoyed that they shut the pubs down because they were, pubs and restaurants were the only places where you actually genuinely felt safe. I didn't still feel safe walking around supermarkets. People just lean over you and kind of, but in pubs and restaurants, people genuinely had, the venues had really made an effort, hadn't they? And
massively.
People really kind of genuinely respected each other, didn't they? And hopefully, when we can go back to the pub, I'm so desperate to go back to the pub. It makes it sound like a total alky, doesn't it? But I'm so bored of watching television.
I can't wait. I really want to be in a pub garden full of drunk people, like with a rollie.
Yeah,
I'm just dying for it.
I know. Yeah, it's what is your alternative entertainment been over lockdown, Xena?
The chicken.
Been looking after some chickens. I've got a rooster that's poorly at the moment, so he's in a box in the kitchen snoring. I've been walking around Plattfields with Debbie. Stared at the wall, read quite a few books.
And well, we'll come back to books in a minute because you've got something exciting to announce as well. Debbie, same question to you. What's been your alternative entertainment since we've been?
Weirdly enough, because I've been working, I've had to create a lot of new resources online. So, and weirdly enough, so I'm teaching, and my brother's a teacher, so I've been talking to him as well. So we're going, oh, so what apps are you using? So he was telling me about some new apps today. So I was like going, oh, I might try those. But yeah, walking around Platfields with the dog, just going different places to walk the dog, and trying to find new things online, new resources online. I'm watching a lot of box sets, really.
Yeah. Anything good? What's your tip for?
Well, I'm working my way through different international ones because it's a good way of putting down my phone and putting down the laptop, because otherwise the temptation is to work all the time. Yeah. Oh, I'll just check my work emails, or I'll just do this. So if I watch a foreign language drama, I have to read the subtitles. So it means I have to put down my laptop and my phone and actually concentrate.
That's a really good idea.
We watched the Valhalla Murders, which was brilliant.
Oh.
That's a Scandi noir. It was set in Iceland. It was really good. There's lots of kind of grimness in that. That was quite fun.
Well, it gives you a feeling of travel as well. So I mean, I worked through Borgen, Danish. I watched Danish, Spanish, French, German. I'm just like, and like say, Scandinavian. I've done Iceland and all. You're looking and thinking, oh,
going around the world.
Let's go there now.
That's really nice. Just that idea that we can go around the world without leaving home. That's really good, isn't it? So we'll wrap up fairly quickly. So thank you so much for joining. I know this is a very quick, brief meeting, but it's just really good to hear about Greater Manchester Fringe. But Zena, you've got something really exciting to tell us as well, haven't you? About a book that you've been writing for. You've been working on it for a long time, haven't you? And just tell us a little bit about it.
Oh yeah. So my book comes out on the 15th of April. It's available to pre-order now from all good bookshops.
What's the title?
It's called Your Friend Forever.
Your Friend Forever. Just give us a little, give us what do you call it? A lift pitch, elevator pitch.
So it's the story spans 30 years, and it starts in 1981 when a very confused teenage girl finds the P.O. box address for her favourite pop star and starts to write to him endlessly. Brilliant.
And is there anything autobiographical? I can't even say it. Autobiographical about it?
Oh no. I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought about it. Great. Okay. Well, thank you, Zena. It's really, just nice to see your face in animation. It's really good because we haven't.
Even though it's slow-mo.
Even though it's slow-mo, but you're doing your kind of 80s kind of robotics, so that's good.
Well, hopefully we can all get together and sit in a beer garden soon with big pints of cold Peroni and
oh my god, that's so, well, let's just keep that thought in our heads. Thank you, Debbie, as well. It's really, really great to see you as well. It's lovely to see you. So the applications for the Greater Manchester Fringe are open on Monday.
On Monday, yeah. And so if anybody has any questions or ideas or anything, the email is gmfringe@gmail.com. So just drop me a line with whatever it is.
And the website address is greatermanchesterfringe.co.uk, isn't it?
.uk,
yeah.
Brilliant. Well, it's really brilliant to see you. I don't really want you to go, really, but you're very welcome to stay. But otherwise you'll be on. Are you sticking around for the readings for next? You have to say yes now, really, don't you?
I need to go. I think I need to go and check on my router.
Okay, right. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. It's brilliant to see you. I'll see you very, very soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, that was lovely to speak to Zena and Debbie Manley there. We have another piece in a couple of minutes. We're just going to get set up with the actors. The next piece is called The Tea Party, and it's by Helen Dooley. We've just got an actor patiently waiting in the waiting room. So give me a couple of minutes, just a very quick couple of minutes while we get set up, and then we will be back very, very soon. So thank you everyone who's joined us. We've got plenty of people here. This is really exciting. So I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. Mary, how are you doing? You're live, just to let you know. How are you doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. So just put yourself on, put yourself on mute for a second or two, and switch your video off for a moment or two, and then just keep looking for me, and I will let you know when we're ready to go. Okay, we're nearly ready. So actors and writers, if you switch your videos back on, we can get started. So we have Mary Hooton, who's going to be reading one of our characters. So she's kindly agreed to join us. We've got John Montgomery, and we've got Helen, who is the writer. So just unmute yourselves, everyone, just to make sure I can hear you. Kevin, I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
So we've got John. Hello, John.
Good. I'm here. I promise. I didn't. Hello.
And we've got Helen, and we've got Mary. Is
Hello.
Kevin back with us?
Hi.
Yeah, I'm here, but it says you've stopped the video, so it won't let me restart it.
How rude of me! Let me ask. I'm just asking you to. I've just asked you to start the video. Yes, there you go.
I get it.
I think I stopped the video because you left your video on and it was still on in the background. I didn't want you to suddenly walk past naked or something, just in case. Just because you'll be live on YouTube if you do that.
I might be nice naked. You never know.
Well, let's not go there. Let's just. I think on that note we will get started. Okay, so we've got plenty of people watching online. So just to give you a little bit of just a very brief background of what we're doing today. So this is a little experiment really in trying out development week in a different way. We usually cram ourselves into the brilliant studio at the King's Arms, and we all kind of love that, and we love being in the pub and having a drink in between kind of shows and all that kind of thing. There's always a bit of a buzz, and so we're trying to recreate that through our through this kind of way of doing it over Zoom and over YouTube. So I'm just double checking that I'm sharing my screen correctly. I will introduce everyone in a moment. We've lost Mary. Where's Mary gone? Oh yes, no. So you're there. Okay. So I'm a bit concerned that there's. Oh, I haven't shared my screen properly. Let me just try that again. I think I used. Oh no, I did. No, I'm doing it wrong. Just bear with me. I've got two of the same thing open, I think. There you go. I think that's going to work. So just bear with us a second. I'm just looking on there. There's a 20-second delay, so I think we're good to go. Can you guys? You can see the script on your screen, can you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to be ready to go. We're ready to go. Okay, so this is a play called The Tea Party. It's written by Helen Dooley, and Helen has been on the Write for the Stage intro course. She's done the progressing course and the advanced course, and so all through lockdown we've been meeting kind of semi-regularly and talking about the script and kind of developing the script. And this is what she's come up with. I think this is a really lovely script, so hopefully you will enjoy this at home. Use the chat on YouTube to give us some feedback, and that feedback will go directly to Helen. So thanks for joining us, everyone at home. This is the tea party. So we've got 3 characters. We've got Peter, and John Montgomery is going to be playing Peter. Just say hello, John.
Oh.
And we've got Eileen, and Eileen is going to be played by Mary Hooton. So just say hello.
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 And Kathy is going to be played by Kevin. So Kathy's playing a female role, but you know, he's got brilliant female wares. So I think so I think we'll be fine. So just bear in mind that Kevin is going to be playing a female role. Okay, and I'm going to be doing the stage directions. Can everyone see that on their screen? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started. So this is the Tea Party by Helen Dooley. Scene 1. Eileen, 17, and her son Peter, 45, in a hoarder's lounge of bin bags, boxes, and piles of newspaper. Peter shoves things into a bin bag.
What are you doing now? I haven't seen you in months.
I'm clearing up this mess.
Why can't you just sit down and talk?
And all this?
Just sit down and have a cup of tea. Do you want a sandwich?
No.
Have you eaten?
No.
How long do you think you'll be staying?
Not sure.
And you're coming to the funeral?
Yes, I already told you. I've put some poison down for the rats.
Is that it? After all this time? How lovely.
They're your rats.
Peter opens a cardboard box.
Dad's books. Do you want these? Take them.
Peter closes the box and carefully lays it to one side.
What's that mirror doing down here? Who said you could bring that down?
I'm just trying to clear a space so I've got somewhere to sleep.
Put it back where you found it.
All right, I'll move it then.
Make sure you do.
All these newspapers can go.
I haven't finished that one.
It's from July.
What's wrong with that?
2010.
Still? There's something in that one I want to keep.
Here.
Thrusts a newspaper at her. She opens it and pretends to read.
You can't read them. You've only got one contact lens and you just spit on it and keep it on top of the television.
What's in the bag?
Oh, very old tights. American tan. Oh, unwashed.
They just need a rinse through.
They've fused.
You're always fussing. I sewed your pants when you were the grumpy innkeeper and you took them apart and re-sewed them. What are you doing with those good lemon squeezes? You're not throwing them.
There are 3 of them.
They're good quality. Glass.
No one needs 3 lemon squeezers. Mum, let go.
They tussle over the lemon squeezers.
Oh, for God's sake. When was the last time you squeezed a bloody lemon? Are you happy now? Sitting there with all your lemon squeezers. It's dangerous in here. It's a fire risk.
Peter drops a box file suddenly.
Oh, God.
What is it?
Nothing. Just an old box file.
Well, why are you being so dramatic then?
Never mind. Forget it.
Where are you going with my Hoover?
I'm taking it outside.
Peter drags another Hoover across the floor.
You're throwing all of them.
You have 4 Hoovers. None of them work. And you only ever use a dustbin and a brush.
Fine. Could you just pass me that sandwich first?
What sandwich?
That sandwich there. Over there. I made it earlier.
How much earlier?
It's fine.
Peter removes the top plate and gags.
What's the matter?
Your teeth are still in it.
Oh, for goodness sake, give it to me.
Eileen replaces her dentures and noisily eats the sandwich. Peter groans, repelled. Eileen laughs to herself.
I'll order the skip.
Peter opens a cupboard.
What are you doing now? Leave that. That's got important things in it.
It's got 3 teacups and a hairbrush.
Peter picks up the teacups and saucers.
Leave them.
They're just old cups.
Every Saturday afternoon, me and my mum had a tea party with those cups, put all my toys in a circle.
Right.
And you can put the brush back as well. My mum used to brush my hair every night with that brush. She used to love brushing my hair. She used to brush it and say, "You have such beautiful hair, Eileen."
Oh, God.
Oh, God, what?
Just take the brush.
What are you doing with the cups?
I'm putting them away so you can never tell me about them again.
He replaces the cups in the cupboard.
You used to go in that cupboard when you were little and you wanted to hide from me.
Do you think it's still fit? What are you shoving down there? It wasn't underwear, was it?
What if it was? What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with shoving your underwear down the side of an armchair?
It was photos, if you must know.
Photos of what? Let me see.
He takes the photo.
It's just a photo of the back of my head when I was little.
Just give it to me.
Why have you kept a photo of the back of my head?
Just give it back.
No.
Peter slides it into a bin bag and ties it.
See, this is what I mean. You have to throw all this away. It's just rubbish.
It's not rubbish.
Okay then. Show me something that isn't rubbish.
There's this radio.
It's got no aerial, no lead, and no back.
It's good quality. That was expensive.
Eileen picks up an aerosol air freshener and sprays it into the air.
What about that? There's some left in that. These are Basildon Bond, good quality. And what about this?
She picks up the box file.
This is a perfectly good box file.
All right. Do you want the dead mouse on it as well?
Peter laughs, stops abruptly as Eileen opens a bin bag and looks through it.
What are you doing? Don't take it all back out. Mum, you can't keep all this stuff. It's unsanitary. Look at the back of this cupboard. Have you seen this?
Eileen goes over to Peter and the cupboard.
What am I supposed to be looking at? This hole?
It's a rat hole.
We never had this problem when we had Sooty.
Sooty? Sooty's been dead 12 years.
Peter steps into the cupboard.
See that greasy mark? That's where it squeezed its body through. I'll have to call environmental health or pest control or social services.
I don't want anyone else in here.
So what are you going to do about it? Yeah, that's what I thought. God, I hate this cupboard. There's writing in here.
Writing?
It's scratched in. Can you hand me my phone?
Peter steps further into the cupboard.
I'd forgotten that.
What does it say?
You don't want to know.
What does it say?
It says, I hate Mum, but I love Dad. And then I've tried to scratch out that I love Dad. I must have realised it was too much of a...
Eileen quickly slams and locks the cupboard door shut. Peter rattles the door.
Oh, shit.
Rattles the door.
Mum. Mum. Mum.
You still fit then?
Mum, open the door.
I can't.
Why not?
It's jammed.
Jammed.
It jams sometimes.
I heard a key.
No, there's no key.
What do you usually do to get it open?
It usually opens by itself, but when the weather gets warmer.
Peter rattles the door frantically.
It's the old wood, it swells up and contracts.
Can you get something to get me out?
Like what?
Look for something. A knife, a chisel, an axe, a spoon. I don't know anything.
A spoon?
Eileen sits down in the chair watching the cupboard. A long silence.
Mum,
Yes.
are you still there?
I'm looking for a spoon.
Have you found one?
Not yet. I suppose you won't get round to sorting that mirror out now.
Are you going to help me or not?
I'm looking.
Eileen walks over to the radio with slow, measured steps and switches it on. Opening theme music of The Archers plays.
Are you listening to the Archers?
I thought it would give you something to listen to.
Can you just get something to get me out?
Just calm down and try to relax.
Relax?
And keep away from that rat hole.
Oh my God. What if a rat comes in when I'm in here?
They're nocturnal.
I'll still be here then.
Eileen turns up the radio.
What's that disease you get from rats?
Rabies.
No, not rabies. Weir's disease. Can you turn that radio down? You can't still get rabies from rats, can you? Mum? Mum!
What?
My chest hurts. Can you pass me my pills from my jacket? They're in the inside pocket.
Where's your jacket?
On the couch.
Eileen takes out the pills.
What's wrong with you? What are these for?
Nothing. Can you just give me them to me?
How is anyone supposed to read this print? Anxiety.
I need a glass of water.
I don't think that would fit under the door.
Fine, I'll take them without water. I know there's a key. Why don't you just let me out so we can talk properly? There's a strange dark stain in the floor.
That's been there for years.
What is it?
I've never been sure.
Mum.
Will you stop throwing away my things?
Mum.
Will you?
Yes.
And you'll put the mirror back upstairs?
If that's what you want.
It is.
I'll put the mirror back then.
Good. You shouldn't have thrown away my things.
If you hadn't saved every jar of Vaseline and every pair of tights for the last 50 years, I wouldn't have to. I have my phone. I could just call the police or the fire brigade.
You wouldn't do that.
If I had to.
I wouldn't answer.
They'd have to knock it down then, and then they'd come in here. All the neighbours would be watching. They might put it in the Star.
Middle-aged hypochondriac hides in cupboard.
That wouldn't be the headline.
You won't call the police.
You could just go and get the key from wherever you put it. You could just go and get the key and let me out, and we'll forget all about it.
I haven't got it.
And then I'll make us a nice cup of tea. Kathy sent cake.
Who's Kathy?
My girlfriend.
What kind of cake?
Fruit cake. We could watch some television. What do you usually watch around now?
Doctors.
We could watch Doctors.
It's already started.
The closing theme of The Archers.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your ma's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry.
Could you stop singing? I can't hear my show.
Sorry.
He continues to hum Summertime softly to himself. Peter bangs the rhythm with his fist on the door.
I didn't think you'd come.
He was Dad's brother.
If I let you out, you won't start shouting.
Now, or at the funeral. I won't shout. I'll just get us some tea and cake.
Is it homemade?
Yes.
Eileen hesitates, then takes the key out of her pocket and opens the cupboard door. Peter steps out.
That was a pretty twisted thing to do.
You said you were going to be nice.
I am being nice.
Where's the cake?
Peter takes a cake out of his bag and shoves it at her.
Here, have it.
This isn't homemade.
Scene 2. Peter and Kathy in Eileen's cluttered lounge. Kathy, 30s, played by Kevin, is mesmerised by the state of it. An abandoned duvet is flung in a mound on the armchair. There's a half-drunk bottle of whiskey and a glass by the chair.
You shouldn't have come. I told you I'd come round tomorrow.
It's not that bad.
It's like something you'd see in a documentary.
How's it been?
Like living with a mixture of Blanche Dubois and Steptoe.
Where is she?
She must have gone to bed. I'll just get my stuff.
Peter exits. Kathy gingerly lowers herself to sit on the couch. She jumps at a stirring movement under the duvet.
Peter? There's something moving.
Peter enters.
What?
Under the duvet.
Peter approaches the chair with trepidation. Slowly, he lifts the duvet. It's Eileen. She's drunk. Her hair sticks up crazily.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Mum, what are you doing under there?
I was cold. Have you heard that noise?
What noise?
Listen.
I can't hear anything.
Who's she?
Hello, Eileen. I'm Kathy. Nice to meet you.
Oh, hello.
We didn't know you were here.
So I gathered. You're leaving then?
We need to get back.
This time? What's the point in rushing off now?
Faint, irregular thudding comes from the hallway.
Must be a rat. One must have taken the poison.
There are rats.
Small ones. Would you like a cup of tea before you go?
No, I'm fine, thank you, Eileen.
I'd love a cup of tea. I was too scared to go into the kitchen with all that noise. I've just been sat here.
We haven't really got the time.
I can get you a cup of tea if you like, before we go.
If it's no trouble.
Our taxi will be here in a minute.
Where's the rat exactly?
It's in the wall. I'll have 3 sugars.
Rat writhes and bangs.
Right.
If you're sure it's no trouble.
Don't, Kathy. I'll do it.
No, it's fine.
Kathy exits uncertainly. Awkward silence.
You left very suddenly.
The priest should have gritted that path. I thought the coffin was going to arrive first when they went down that path.
Yeah, it was slippy. Did you hear the conveyor belt taking the coffin? When they drew that red velvet curtain round and the shrieking started, sounded like he was being dragged off to hell. Maybe he was.
Peter and Eileen hold each other's gaze.
You didn't even have the buffet. You usually take half of it away in your handbag.
I wasn't hungry. I thought you'd be staying tonight.
We have to get back. Kathy is a young daughter. She needs to get back to her.
She'll be in bed now, surely.
She told her mum she wouldn't be too late.
Kathy enters, empty-handed.
Sorry, I couldn't find the cups.
You can't find anything in this house. I spent an hour trying to find a teaspoon.
Never mind. Have a whiskey.
I'm not really a spirit drinker.
I'd offer you some wine, but Peter forgot to chill it.
Maybe some water?
I'll ask Peter to bring some orange squash. Would you like an after 8?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Don't you like them?
No, they're very nice.
They're in that bag.
This one?
Kathy picks up her carrier bag and opens it. She yelps and closes it quickly.
What is it?
I think it's spaghetti bolognese.
I meant the other bag.
Never mind, we're going.
I thought you wanted to move that cupboard.
You said I couldn't.
Well, you may as well while you're here.
I haven't got time.
It won't take you long. You've been nagging me all week to move it.
I'll move it next time.
Whenever that will be.
Is it still empty or have you filled it back up with stuff?
She opens the cupboard to see.
I'll empty it ready.
Be careful.
It's just a hairbrush and some teacups.
Put them over there on the occasional table.
My granny always used to have a little table which she called an occasional table. I used to think, what is it the rest of the time?
Eileen flicks an icy glance.
Did you really?
Irritated, Peter dumps the teacups and hairbrush noisily on a table.
Careful! We used to have tea parties with these cups.
That's nice.
What is?
Your tea parties.
My tea parties.
Special cups with the red roses. You and your mum and all your toys in a circle. I know, you said.
Peter tries to move the cupboard.
It's too heavy. I'm not doing this now. I feel a bit queasy.
Eileen takes out a bottle of whiskey from behind her chair.
It's cold. Would you mind just flicking the fire on the side?
Kathy switches on the fire. Eileen gives 3 glasses a cursory wipe on her top and pours a generous whiskey in it. Eileen hands one to Kathy, who pretends to sip it, then covertly places it back down.
We used to have a real fire in here.
I love real fires. I'd like a wood burner.
He used to love the fire when he was little. You remember the fire, Kathy?
No,
Oh, you do? You both fell asleep on the couch in front of it when you were courting. Or your top was undone.
That wasn't me.
Oh, no. That was the one with the red hair.
Rat banging intensifies to a wild skirmish and continues.
We'll make a move then.
You're not going to leave now, with all this going on?
Oh, what?
The rat.
It's only a small rat.
The rat banging continues.
It doesn't sound like a small rat. It sounds like a human. Have some of this before you go.
Eileen offers Peter one of the glasses. He refuses to take it, eyes the dirty glass warily.
What is it?
Good malt whiskey.
No thanks.
I've opened it now.
I'm going to get my things.
The rat banging becomes more frenetic.
If your dad had been more handy around the house, well, there wouldn't be those gaps for rats to get in.
Nothing to do with all the bags of food and rubbish.
Kathy pushes the glass of whiskey into Peter's hand.
Anyway, you had Uncle Bill. He fixed things up, didn't he?
Not anymore.
No, not anymore.
He raises his glass in a toast.
To Uncle Bill.
To Uncle Bill.
May he rest in peace.
James was useless round the house. Once, he went to fix the light switch outside the toilet, and he came down and said, "How would you feel about an all-in-one bathroom and toilet?" And when we went up, he'd knocked a bloody big hole in the wall.
Peter laughs, remembering.
It wasn't funny.
Well, everyone wants those now, don't they?
I think you're missing the point, dear.
Please don't speak to her like that.
Pardon?
As if she's stupid.
I didn't say anything.
You may have spoken to your husband like that, but that's not how you're going to speak to mine.
Your husband?
My fiancé.
When did this happen?
We've been engaged 6 months.
6 months? So when are you getting married?
Next summer.
Did my invitation get lost in the post?
Peter and Kathy exchange looks.
We haven't done them yet. You're invited, obviously.
I'm glad to hear it. We should celebrate.
Eileen tops up their glasses and raises hers.
To Peter and Kathy, I hope you'll be very happy together.
The rat's sporadic banging resumes and continues in the background, but Eileen is suddenly giddy, like a child at an unexpected party.
Maybe you could put the TV on. Drown out that noise.
No, not the TV. We should have a party.
With the 3 of us.
We could have a concert.
Oh, God.
You had to learn to make your own fun in this house. Remember when you were little and we used to switch the TV off and you used to give us concerts? We always used to do one every New Year's Eve. We didn't go out like other people. If James had been like a normal man, he'd have had friends we could have gone out with, but we always stayed in and did our concerts.
What about your friends?
What did Peter do at the concerts?
Sing, dance, tell jokes, and his dad would sing. He was completely useless round the house, but he had a nice voice.
He had a great voice.
Everything he tried to do fell apart.
And what did you do at concerts, Eileen?
Sit around and criticise everyone else.
What about you, Kathy?
Me?
Why don't you get up for us?
Oh, no, I couldn't. One of you should.
You would take our mind off the noise.
No, I couldn't. It's your family tradition.
Your family now.
It's very nice of you, but I'd rather not.
Wouldn't we all?
Couldn't Peter?
What about a song?
I can't sing.
Can't you sing? What about a joke then?
No, I'm no good at telling jokes.
Rubbish.
Why doesn't Peter sing instead?
I'd rather have a joke.
Rat noises increase.
Peter, why don't you tell us the joke?
Can never remember any long jokes.
So tell a short one.
You must know a joke between you, surely. Have some whiskey.
Just trying to think.
Have you got one yet?
I don't think you'll like it.
Well, tell it then and we'll see.
All right.
You have to stand in front of the television.
What?
That's the stage.
Oh. Here?
Yes.
Kathy waits as if hoping something will save her.
I feel a bit stupid.
Just get it over with.
A man is on his porch,
Is he American?
his doorstep, and he sees a slug. No, he sees a snail. It's a snail. And he picks it up and throws it as far as he can.
Why?
He didn't like snails. He throws it as far as he can, and then 3 years later, there's a knock on the door. It's the same snail, and the snail says, "What the hell was that about?"
Was that it? Is it finished? How did the snail knock on the door?
I don't know.
Are you sure she can't sing?
See? What did I tell you? Come on, Kathy, we're going.
Peter picks up his bag and a box from the corner.
And I'm taking Dad's books before the rats get them.
Oh, yes. Your dad's books. That's all he ever did. Read books. Creating confidence, how to make friends and influence people, eat fat and grow slim, be a financial success. Didn't do him any good. He used them to prop up the bed when the leg broke.
Yes, all right. You can stop slagging him off now, Mum. He's dead.
Oh, everything's my fault.
No, nothing's your fault. Is all this his fault too? I think I shall have a whiskey.
I thought we were getting back.
Peter defiantly fills the glass.
Let's have a toast. To Dad.
To James.
To James.
Sip their drinks in loaded silence.
She's still got him over there.
What?
Over there.
Peter goes over to the shelf, digs through clutter to get to a large jar and holds it up.
Are they his ashes?
Do you think Dad realised he was going to spend all entirety in an oversized Kenko jar?
Oh, be quiet.
Let's sit in the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings.
What are you talking about now?
It's from Richard II. We did it at school.
You're very chatty suddenly.
To you, Dad. Lichi da.
What's that?
It's Welsh for cheers.
Was he Welsh?
No. He just liked it. He was a collector of phrases, swear words. He was a very gentle man, but he loved swearing. Fucking flaming flagstones of hell. At his funeral, I kept hearing his voice, taking the piss out of everything. Like he was commentating his own funeral. I miss his voice the most.
Jar and his glass of whiskey down with slow deliberation.
I think I will sing.
Really?
You have to go onto the stage.
I remember where to stand.
Peter opens his mouth to sing. The rat noises restart.
Hecklers.
What are you singing?
Summertime.
Not that one. Can't you sing another?
I want to sing this. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your ma's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry.
Don't you know any other songs?
Are you all right, Aileen?
One of these mornings you're going to wake up singing. Spread your wings and fly up to that sky. But until that morning, there ain't nothing can harm you. With Mama and Papa standing by.
He hasn't stopped singing that since he arrived.
One of these mornings you're going to rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take the sky.
I've had enough now.
I haven't finished. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm you.
I said that's enough.
Awkward silence. Peter and Eileen stare at each other in silent challenge. Peter picks up the jar.
I don't think she liked that song.
What's wrong with it?
It was my dad's song. Shall I put him back behind the China swan and the woman with no head?
I don't understand.
Peter replaces the jar.
Uncle Bill put up these shelves.
They're very good shelves.
They are. Very solid. He used to come round Saturdays while Dad was at work. Dad worked till 6 at the factory and then he'd come back with a box of the cakes that had gone wrong and we could eat them all. Mum would say to me, don't come back in, not till the small hand is on the 5 and the big hand is on the 6. You can have your favourite chocolate biscuits if you don't come back in.
What is the point of dragging all this up now?
What were the biscuits? What were the biscuits?
Oh, for goodness sake, does it matter?
Yes.
Eileen decides whether to answer.
Orange United.
And then Dad would come back with his box of cakes, all pleased, and I'd have to pretend to be excited. I had to force them down. I'd eaten too many Uniteds.
I don't see why you're dragging all this up now.
Don't you?
No.
If it was really cold, I'd bang the back door shut. Then I'd sneak back in and hide in here and read with a torch. I could hear you both. That's when I wrote that.
Wrote what?
I'll show you. I hate Mum, but I love Dad. You can't see it. I scratched it out.
You really shouldn't hold on to that past.
Sage words from the woman with all the bin bags.
Peter heads for the door, doubles back for his glass of whiskey and exits. Eileen and Kathy sit in awkward silence. Eileen drinks her whiskey and offers one to Kathy, who shakes her head. Both stare after Peter.
He shouldn't have brought all that up in front of you.
I think he just needs to calm down.
He's coming back?
Yes.
You've got all this ahead of you.
Startled.
With your daughter. Have you got a photo of her?
Kathy gets out her phone and shows Eileen a photo.
She's got nice hair.
Thank you.
Very thick. Do you brush it or does she?
I still brush it.
It's nice to have photos to remember.
Eileen fishes under her armchair and brings out wallets of photos and hands them to Kathy, who looks through them as Eileen talks.
I was always taking photos. There were never any photos of me when I was little, so I wanted to make sure. Every special occasion. They used to laugh at me. I'd always take extras, just in case one didn't turn out, one for luck. What does your daughter like to do?
Isabel, she likes ice skating.
Does she?
Eileen tops up a whiskey and sips as she talks.
We used to like going on the ferry when Peter was little. One time, me and Peter were on the top deck and there was a storm. It was funny because he usually hated loud noises. We could never go to firework displays. We always had to watch them from the top bedroom. And there he was, in the middle of a storm, and every time there was a crack of thunder, he'd cackle and shake his fist at the sky. I said to him, "I thought you didn't like loud noises." And he said, "I like my loud noises." And then, when we landed, we shared a bag of chips, lovely thick chips, not like those thin ones they have now, and he snuggled under my coat.
Eileen smiles, remembering. Her smile fades as she returns to the present.
Peter only remembers the bad things. You think they'll remember all the good things you do, but all they remember is the time you forgot the donuts for the picnic.
Kathy holds up a photo.
There are lots of photos of flowers.
I took a photo every time Peter bought me flowers.
Kathy leafs through several photos.
One for luck. Have you picked a wedding dress?
Not yet.
That's me, over there. 24-inch waist, wild silk. I went straight from the party to honeymoon and left the dress with my mum. When I got back, she'd crammed it into a drawer. It was all crumpled and ruined. Even on my wedding day, I saw her face behind me in the mirror.
Couldn't you have got it?
I could never do anything right. She had these very small, very blue eyes. She used to stand behind me in the mirror, at that mirror there. Don't hunch. Don't smile, you'll show your teeth. Once I turned round and I said, "Here, pull this over your piggy little eyes." And I pulled her hat down over her eyes. That shut her up. I've always hated that mirror. You and Peter can take it if you like. I think he likes it.
Peter enters, stony-faced. Eileen throws back the rest of her drink. Both women watch Peter as he shoves things into bin bags.
Peter, do you remember going on the ferry? And the thick chips?
Peter stares at her blankly.
See? I was telling Kathy that you could have this mirror if you wanted.
Eileen attempts to pick up the mirror, but it's heavy and she's drunk. She lifts it a little off the ground and totters towards Peter. He refuses to help her. Kathy goes to help Eileen.
You shouldn't be lifting that.
I know.
Kathy helps Eileen set it back down. Eileen knocks back into the table, knocking the hairbrush to the floor. She looks around for someone to blame.
James? Peter? Sooty?
They've all gone, Mum. There's only me left to blame.
Eileen picks up the hairbrush from the floor and slams it down on the table.
Careful, that was your mother's brush.
Listen, James.
I'm not James.
I made a mistake. That's all.
It's not a mistake if you keep doing it.
Eileen picks up the hairbrush as if she's going to throw it at him.
My parents' partners swapped in the 70s.
Peter and Eileen both turn to stare at her.
It was over 30 years ago, Peter.
I'm pregnant.
Thought we weren't telling people till after the scan.
When are you due?
August. We'll have to postpone the wedding.
That's lovely news. Lovely. I had him in a private nursing home, middle of the night. I was ringing and ringing for them to come, and nobody came. When the sister came, I screamed at her. She said I was hysterical and slapped me, so I slapped her back.
Start as you mean to go on.
But when I fed him and held him, it was snowing outside. And he gave this big, deep sigh as he fell asleep, like he was completely content. I used to love that sigh.
Kathy is moved, tears in her eyes. Peter resumes throwing things away.
The skip's coming at 10.
Peter picks up a cookbook and puts it in the bag.
Your dad bought me that when we were first married.
You haven't cooked since the 70s.
Kathy retrieves it from the bag.
It might have some good recipes.
Kathy opens it up at the first page and smiles.
What?
There's an inscription.
What?
The perfect woman, it has been said, is an angel in the kitchen and a devil in the...
Well, she wasn't an angel in the kitchen.
I cooked your birthday teas.
Peter holds up one of the teacups.
What about these?
My tea service.
It's hardly a service. It's 3 cups.
And a teapot. I broke the milk jug.
You never use them.
She said I wasn't to be trusted.
Who?
My mum. She kept them locked up in the glass cabinet in the other room with the silver.
What about your special tea parties with your mum? All your toys in a circle?
Those. They never happened. I must have seen it somewhere.
You made it up?
Yes.
God, you'll do anything rather than throw this shit away, won't you?
I used to set them out when she was out and pretend.
Should I throw these cups away then or not?
You may as well. There's not going to be any tea parties now. She was 40 when she had me. She didn't even tell the doctor she was pregnant. Some people just aren't meant to be mums.
Isn't that the truth?
Hurt, Eileen turns away from Peter. Peter shoves the cups in the bin bag and ties the handle.
So that's Eileen.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Could you turn the fire up, please, Kathy?
It has been cold today, hasn't it? Bitter.
It is cold.
The old electric fire clicks as it warms up. Eileen stares into the fire.
And once it gets in your bones, you can't get warm, can you?
Are we making a move or not?
Not yet.
I'll do some more clearing then.
He drags the cupboard over the floor. The loud screeching noise makes Eileen and Kathy cringe.
Could you put something underneath it to stop the noise?
It's fine.
You like your loud noises.
Peter hesitates, confused by the familiar, forgotten phrase. He continues dragging the cupboard out as both women wince.
I hugged that cupboard.
Why did you hug a cupboard?
There was no one else there. And then it fell on me.
Kathy laughs before she can stop herself. Eileen joins her. Eileen gets up, intending to get another whiskey, but she loses her balance and topples with a tremendous crash onto the coffee table. Eileen lies inert, ponderous silence. Kathy and Peter stare at her in horror. Kathy takes a step towards her. Eileen springs up onto her feet.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Jesus Christ, I thought she was dead.
I'm all right.
Eileen, why don't you have a lie down?
Eileen allows Kathy to lead her to the couch.
I do have a little bit of a headache.
I'll get you something.
Kathy exits. Eileen sits up and starts rooting for something.
What are you doing now?
I'm looking for painkillers.
Eileen finds pills and starts taking them. Kathy enters with a cold flannel.
What are they?
Paracetamol.
Eileen peers closer at the pill in her hand.
But they're a funny colour.
Kathy snatches up the pill pack.
They're deworming tablets.
At least she won't have worms.
She could be really sick.
She'll be fine. She has the stomach of a goat.
Kathy takes the duvet over to Eileen, who lies obediently back down.
I brought you a cold flannel.
Kathy places.
Have you had anything to eat?
No.
Is there anything in?
No.
You could have got some food in. Is there a takeaway nearby?
There's an Indian.
Chips.
That's in Nut Grove.
I'll go in the car. What would you like from the chip shop, Eileen?
A split, please.
What?
Fish, chips and peas.
Do you want anything?
I'll have the same.
Kathy picks up her bag and coat.
You sort things out here.
I'll finish clearing the stuff.
Not the bloody stuff, Peter. Look after her.
Peter watches his mum in distaste.
I don't like her.
What's that got to do with anything?
Mutters petulantly.
We're having a baby soon, Peter. It can't be all about you anymore.
What am I supposed to do?
Just be nice to her.
How?
I don't know. Just make her a cup of tea.
Kathy exits. Peter watches Eileen, who stays lying still with the flannel over her eyes. For a moment, it seems as if he's going to go over to her. Instead, he goes over to the armchair, braces himself, and thrusts his arms down the side of the armchair, reaching right under the seat. Eileen lies with the flannel over her eyes, but listens to everything.
What are you doing?
This is the first time you've been out this armchair in decades. I'm clearing it out while I can.
Peter fishes out old tissues, underwear, something indeterminate that sticks to his hand, and several teaspoons. He picks up a handful of photos.
7 pictures of the same bloody bunch of flowers.
He comes up with a single old photo and stares at it.
What is it with you and photos of the back of my head?
Cardboard cities.
What?
You used to love making cities out of cardboard boxes and burning them on the fire. I liked watching the back of your head when you were concentrating. Your little neck.
How many of these have you got?
That's the only one.
Stares at Eileen.
This is the one I threw. I put all the bags in the skip.
I had a torch.
Peter smooths out the photo, staring at it. He walks over and hands it to Eileen. She reaches out her hand and takes it blindly.
Do you want a cup of tea?
3 sugars.
I know.
Don't forget to stir it.
Peter doubles back for the teaspoons.
Where's Kathy gone?
She went to get chips.
Eileen sits up suddenly.
You'll need to heat some plates.
She stands up.
And don't forget the condiments.
And what are you doing?
I'm going to get changed.
Eileen swans off. Peter exits and returns with cutlery, condiments, bread and butter on a tray. He sets the table with passive aggression and butters the bread. Eileen enters in party clothes, but her hair is still stuck up crazily.
How do I look?
Your hair's a bit...
What?
It's fine.
Peter is about to cut the bread.
Into triangles.
Peter gives a small smile and cuts it into triangles.
You never used to let me eat chip sandwiches in public.
I know.
You said it was common.
It is.
I had to take a bite of chip and a bit of bread separately and combine them in my mouth.
It tastes the same.
It doesn't.
I know. It was what my mum taught me. It's not the same when the butter doesn't melt. It's funny how you just do things your parents did. For years, whenever I did a joint of beef, I used to cut both ends off before I roasted it because that's what my mum did. I thought it must make it more tender. She saw me do it once and she said, "What are you doing that for?" And I said, "It's what you always did." And she said, "My roasting tin wasn't big enough."
Eileen heads over to the armchair, thrusts her arm down. She comes back with the camera.
How did I miss that?
Eileen fiddles with the camera.
Are you taking photos?
I want to take a photo of tonight. Then I can say to your child when they're older, "This is the night I found out about you."
Who do you want in the photo?
Us. All of us.
Peter looks critically at Eileen's hair.
What's the matter?
Your hair's a bit at the back.
Is it?
Do you want to just give your hair a quick?
Peter spots the old brush on the table and hands it to Eileen. Eileen ineffectually runs it over her hair without making any improvement.
Better?
Not really. You're missing a bit at the back.
Is that better?
No, you're missing it. It's still that bit there. Do you want me to?
Begrudgingly, Peter holds his hand out for the brush. Eileen hands it over and Peter tries to brush her hair. He instantly catches a plug.
Careful.
Peter dabs clumsily with the brush as Eileen grumbles. He carries on brushing. Eileen starts to relax and enjoy it.
This brush is useless.
A bad workman?
Was this really your mum's brush?
No.
Whose is it then?
I can't remember.
Your mum didn't brush your hair every night, did she?
She brushed it sometimes.
Peter progresses to longer strokes.
And say, what beautiful hair you have, Eileen.
No. My hair was always quite thin.
Eileen closes her eyes, content, like a small child. She smiles, enjoying each stroke. Peter continues brushing her hair gently. Eileen falls asleep, lulled by the brush strokes and the fire. Realising she's asleep, Peter stops. He walks over to the table and watches her sleep, absent-mindedly eating a piece of bread and butter. He eyes the table, decides something and abruptly exits. Off stage, there's a rustling of bin bags. Peter enters carrying 3 teacups, saucers and a tea towel. He wipes each cup and saucer and lays them carefully out on the table, adjusting the setting till it looks just right. Peter exits. Eileen stays asleep. The tea party is centre stage. Peter enters with the matching teapot and lays it down in the middle of the table. The noise wakes Eileen. She sits up. Eileen regards the set table, takes in the rescued tea set.
The rat noises have stopped.
They both listen. It's quiet. Eileen reaches to the back of her head.
There's still a plug here. Could you see if you could get it?
Peter sighs, picks up the brush and unwillingly starts brushing Eileen's hair.
I can't feel a plug.
It's there, at the back.
He continues brushing.
I'm starving.
Well, don't eat any more bread and butter. You'll ruin your appetite.
Will you let me make chip butties? We used to feed seagulls with bread in the ferry, and the wind kept blowing it back and making me laugh.
That's right. Maybe when your baby's older, we could go on the ferry. It still goes, doesn't it?
Yes, it still goes.
He brushes her hair.
Did you remember to warm the plates?
I did.
Which one has she gone to?
The one in Nut Grove.
Peter,
Yes.
will there be thick chips?
Peter nods. Eileen closes her eyes, content. Peter continues to brush her hair. The sound of the gate outside and Kathy's footsteps coming towards them down the path. The door knocker goes. Peter lays down the brush and goes to answer it. Eileen heads over to the table and sits down. She looks round the table, pleased. Lights down. The end. Lovely, good. So unfortunately, we're not in a room where we can get the audience to clap, but we'll give you a little clap because that's a lovely piece. So
Brilliant, Helen.
So well done, Helen. It's a really lovely piece, that. So people at home, if you're so there's lots of you still watching, please give some feedback in the YouTube chat. Just let us know what you thought, things that you loved about it, things that you feel like could be improved. So just let us know what you someone typing. I'm just going to mute everyone because I can hear typing. So, so write some feedback. That would be lovely. It would be really, really nice, and that will go directly to the writer. So we'll just take a couple of minutes, and just for the last thing for this evening, we have Dominic Berry, who's a poet, and he's going to perform some poetry for us. So we'll get that ready in a few moments. So write some feedback on YouTube chat. Thank you for sticking with us, everyone. It's really great that people are still here. So so thank you. A round of applause for a really great piece of writing. Great. So I'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Brilliant. Well done, everyone. If you just
thank you, Mary. Is she gone already?
Still there.
Thank you very much, Mary, and everyone. Thank you for coming and doing that.
Okay, I'm gonna everyone stop your video because you're still live on YouTube. I'll send everyone a message after. Thank you, everyone. Thanks. That's great. Dom, are you there? Oh, it says you're connecting to audio. Let me just see if you're. I will message you. Is that you, Dom? Dom.
Hello.
We're live on YouTube. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for doing this. It's really
my absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for asking me. Can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Really lovely. Yeah, I like your hat. I've been playing the PlayStation all day, so that's a nice little touch.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing The Last of Us Part 2. It's really terrifying. So have you played it?
Well, do you know what? I shall share in a moment a poem that explains in detail why I haven't played it.
Oh, right, okay.
It's not like slagging off like your favourite game. It's not doing that.
Yeah. Well, I was playing it earlier on, and I was terrified at one stage. It's really it's quite stressful. It's quite a stressful game, but it's very good. The graphics are amazing. Anyway, we're not here to talk about computer games. We're here to share your fantastic poetry. So we've got lots of people live on YouTube watching. I think I'm just going to hand it over to you. How long is your set roughly, do you think?
As long as you want. I think you said 15 minutes. Did you? Does that sound good?
Yeah, that would be lovely.
How lovely. That's really grand. Right. Yeah. Should we get going?
I'm going to go off my I'm going to switch my video off, and I'm going to go on mute. And then you will be on YouTube on your own, and so you'll be there. Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much, Dom. This is thank you everyone for tonight's attendance from everyone. I'm just going to hand you over to the very capable hands of Dominic Berry.
Fantastic. So yeah, hello people. If you don't know who I am a poet, and I've had the great pleasure of attending a number of events with Mike over the years. It's always glorious. So I'm going to share just some poems which I've written, and I really hope you get something out of them. Most of my poems are going to be quite upbeat because I think you've been like listening to art for quite a while. I'm really sorry I've just joined you because I've had other commitments. I'm sorry I haven't experienced what else has been on tonight. I know Mike always hosts stellar events, so I'm disappointed to have not caught this one. But yeah, I'm going to do an upbeat set. Apart from this first poem, they say always start with something light and joyful, and I'm not going to do that, not at all. I'm going to start with one of the older poems that I still do in my set. It's from my first book that I had out like about 12 million years ago, and of course it wasn't predicting lockdown. It will, of course not, but it seems a little poignant to these times. The poem goes exactly like this. Today I'm eating margarine straight from the tub, and I feel so guilty. However hard I scrub, my wrists unbandaged. I've been trying not to rub, but I've so many cysts that need lancing. Tomorrow I will go dancing. My fingernails are rusty, skin full of ills, head hot and tender as my stomach spills. But tomorrow I know where we'll get these little pills. You see, everything about me needs enhancing. Tomorrow I will go dancing. Tomorrow you'll go dancing in your glitter-tapped absinthe, vodka, never get fat. Laughing, smiling, all that goes with that. Today I feel anxieties advancing. Tomorrow I will go dancing. Hear my father's voice, warped and splintered today. He says, misery will find you, boy. You'll never get away. My head feels like a beehive on a warm summer's day when I see pretty things preening and prancing. Tomorrow I will go dancing. Well, everyone there's happy. They are falling into song. I just want to be loved. I've been lonely for so long. And tomorrow's like a vessel. Sail away from all this wrong where people say I'm ugly and can't sing. Tomorrow I will go dancing. Today I hear your laughter. It is burning in my head. It is buying up through blisters where you burned till I bled. If I panic till I can't breathe, think I'd be better dead, well, I'll tell myself that risk is worth chancing. And tomorrow I will go dancing. I want to join the happy crowds, glorious and glad. I want to like pop music. Never feel sad. My therapist's implying that I choose to feel this bad. I tell her, you know nothing. But if you're asking, tomorrow I will go dancing. Thanks so much for listening. Cheers. Like I say, not starting with anything light. Oh, hello, Mike. I'll give you a bit of applause. That's very kind of you. Yeah. I think, you know, the rest of the set's going to be a bit more upbeat, but I thought I'd open with that one because why not, eh? Why not? It's one of the poems that I perform quite regularly. This is my full-time job, going around saying poems, or at the moment online saying poems, and I've managed to do that from having the great fortune to win competitions, and long may I win some more. And that's a poem that I've won stuff with. Unlike this next poem, I'm going to share a poem which I don't often say, and it's Mike was saying about playing a modern video game, and I don't get modern video games. I find them all so complicated. And I remember the NES, the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System of what is called the 8-bit era. And that's the kind of games I can understand, stuff from like the late 80s, 90s. Games were made differently then. So this is a proper old guy poem about this modern technology I don't understand. And it's called 8-Bit Buddy. And I've just crammed in as many retro video game references as I can. It goes like this. My mates can't wait to forget me. Berate the state because I can't play correctly the latest games, but get my NES and I will be your greatest 8-bit buddy. If you let me make our lives easy wherever we go, I'll be the Luigi to your Mario, your comrade, your helper. Whatever you think, can I be your Zelda? Would you be my Link? Tomorrow's long trails will feel laconic. I follow like tails because you're supersonic. Whatever you long for, I'll get there sooner. Will you, Donkey Kong, be my Donkey Kong Jr.? My mates can't wait to forget me. Berate my state because I can't play correctly the latest games. Forget my Nez and I will be your greatest 8-bit buddy if you let me join the best at Dragon Quest. Your Mega Man, I would be blessed to press your B button. You bet this means even more than my high score at Tetris. I'll see you clear if spears appear on Chip and Dale or Metal Gear. Let me be the buddy on whom you depend. It's my final fantasy to find a friend. My mates can't wait to forget me, berate my state because I can't play correctly the latest games. Forget my Nez and I will be your greatest 8-bit buddy if you let me. Cheers. I love every time I do a poem, I get Mike popping up, applauding. I could do with that in life in general. It's just I'm needing a bit of a pick-me-up. If it's been a difficult day, just a little pop-up of Mike applauding me, that would be a really nice thing to happen. Mike's all about encouraging new writing, and I was thinking, oh, what do I have new to share? And I don't really have anything, but I'm gonna share one of my newer poems. And something that inspired this poem was a conversation with an American poet, Reggie Kabiko, who's giving me some advice on trying to pursue poetry as a career. He was like, you know, you start off and you often write poems that are about 3 minutes long because that's the general length of a poetry competition. And then you might get offered a set where you're doing like 15 minutes or round about that. And then probably after that, you'll be wanting to write an hour poetry, about an hour, because a fringe festival like Edinburgh Fringe, that's the length you get. But I'll tell you the next step, Dominic. I'll tell you the next step after that. I was like, the next step, like, what, 3, 15, an hour? What's the next step? Like a year of poetry? A decade of poetry? What's the next step? He's like, 1 minute. Because if you get asked to do like television or radio things, often people ask for like a tight minute, and what do you have that's a minute long? And the answer was nothing. So I started to write poems that were 1 minute long, and that's what this next is. It's about this fella. It's a true story of my relationship with this guy when I was a kid. This poem is something that actually happened between my mother and me. It's called He-Man, the most powerful bottom in the universe. When I was young, my mum knew I was gay. From one specific thing I drew one day. I proudly showed my mum what I had done. A crayon drawing showing He-Man's bum. A gift for which I craved my mother's thanks, where Skeletor was giving He-Man spanks. Not one single thing could make me cheerier than drawing villains whacking that posterior. And my mum said, ooh, that's nice. And I confess that praise made me feel such a great success. And when the neighbours came, Mum did not flinch with He-Man's bare bum blue tacked to our fridge. Hooray for mums! Hooray for mums! Hooray for my mum, definitely. Cheers for listening. Thanks so much. Thank you. Yeah, so minute-long poems, that's the thing. I'm going to read something even shorter. I'm going to read an 8-line poem. An 8-line poem. This is my latest book here, No Tigers. And yeah, a triolet is a French form of poetry with a very specific structure, repeated lines, and ideally there should be like changing meaning as it goes on. So yeah, it's a set rhythm. And this is about friendship. So in the same way, the video game one I did 2 poems back was kind of a jokey poem. This one is a little bit more serious. And my word, if this doesn't describe how I feel having access to the internet in lockdown, having like the friendships, the connections we get. This is a triolet. It goes like this. Awash with cheer, my flood of friends, whose words are wet with wit and glee, shed juice and beer, your laughter mends. awash with cheer, my flood of friends. I'll join you here, for this time sends my sorrow somewhere far from me. Awash with cheer, my flood of friends, whose words are wet with wit and glee. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, one final poem from me. Thanks so much for listening. I love poetry, love it so much. I'm very proud to live in Manchester, a city that's full of poets. I didn't know poetry was something that people kind of did with their lives, like a vocation, until coming here. I'm very, very proud to be adopted as one of the Manchester poets. I write a lot about friendships. I think loads of people write about like romantic love, don't they? And that's ace, but we've got a lot of love poems for partners now. So I'm big on friendship poems, and that's what this last poem's about. Now, kind of analogy in this final poem for me is back in the day, everyone kept their music on iPods. Like iPods were the fashion for a bit, and now the fashions have changed and people don't really use iPods anymore. So my final poem is called I Will Not Treat a Friend Like an iPod. Because an iPod is just a thing which is made to break, to use until it doesn't work anymore, and then throw away, knowing your money can get you a better one, the latest one, ready for temporary adoration. Well, I won't be told that friends with depression should be thrown away. Happy people aren't better people. You can sing me all your tracks, not just the cheesy pop you think will make me smile. Give me your difficult second album, the one with all the distorted guitar feedback and 7-minute jazz piano solos. For what many dismiss as obscure, clunky B-sides can give deeper meaning that lasts and is too precious to delete from any library. An iPod's just a thing that's made to break, but Leonard Cohen said there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Well, you're my Leonard Cohen and my Justin Bieber. We are weird, wailing Kate Bush, waking the witch. We are live, bootleg Marvin Gaye's final concert 1983. You see, I know we can always be Chemical Brothers, Scissor Sisters, Sister Sledge. We are family. I know we can always be. An iPod is just a thing which has been made to break, but I know all of us have been built to sing. Thanks so much for listening. Cheers. I've been Dominic Berry. It's been a real pleasure to be part of your event, Mike. Thanks so much for having me.
That was really brilliant. You've got such great energy, and it's just really good to watch. And hopefully there's some really nice comments on YouTube as well, so have a look at those when you get a chance. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It's been really lovely to share work and to share just to share everything. So thank you everyone. I'm just talking rubbish now, aren't I? I can't follow that, Dom. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, everyone. This is the end of our little sharing. So thank you, everyone. It's been really lovely. I'm just gonna press stop live stream